Hello, my name is Caleb Voles.
My name is Kevin Macy.
And I'm Luke Skinner.
And today we will be talking about the process of how we made a trailer adaptation of the book The Hobbit. Now, it was just a prequel, and we did it, and we called it Thorin. Now, one of the interesting things about our project was that we actually didn't all work together at the same time on it.
That's exactly right. When we first started, we weren't sure exactly how that was going to work out because I and Luke and I, we were in one period of English while Caleb over here was in a different period of English. So we were working on different things, but still being able to accomplish a ton.
I think that really helped us a lot. I know I speak for the rest of the group here when I say that separately working on items really helped us focus on what we were doing and at the task at hand. It made a lot of things less stressful, so we knew what each other were doing, but we also knew what we had to get done individually.
Also, the distractions were a lot less. Like, I was the writer for the group, and I did a lot of choreography for some of our more dance-y/fight scenes. So it was a lot easier for me to just put in my earbuds and go to work rather than having to talk to group members, which I tend to do a lot in groups. I tend to be more of a distraction, and I just found it really helpful to just not have any distractions around me so I could just get to work.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you guys do? Because I don't really know too much of what you guys did, to be honest, like about your work process and everything. So would you like to explain that for me a little bit?
Of course. So basically for the first first week or so, Luke and I would just do deliberation of what we wanted.
Okay.
Just really quick, I want to discuss our primary roles between the three of us before I get into that. I myself was the person who played Thorin in the trailer.
I was the main cinematographer and video effects, as well as then Caleb.
And I, as previously stated, I wrote and choreographed the scenes that we did.
Then also I should mention I did a lot of work on the website that we have up on air, which you should check out. But so basically what we did in class is I would work on the website, Luke would work on editing. We tried to, as soon as possible, get some recording done.
Okay. And
with that, we were able to get editing. We were able to get that editing and get that done so we didn't have to do it later in the future.
There's a lot of scheduling going on. I know personally, like, working around my schedule is tough, and then you add in how many things outside of class that we all had to do. It was very, very difficult to schedule all the times that we had to be together to record, but then when we were together, we were able to successfully accomplish a lot of things because we knew going into it what we had to do for the night.
Okay. Yeah, that's accurate. Like, that's my process too. I just kind of knew what needed to be done, knew when it needed to be done by, and I just kind of got to work on that. So yeah, I'm really glad. I'm glad we had this dynamic.
Of course.
Because just a little tidbit for any group out there that wants to consider this in the future. Make sure that the jobs you have deliberated to the people in like the different classrooms can be done like that. Like, I was the writer, so I could write in my time, but if Luke needed like a second opinion for editing or anything, that would be kind of hard to get if he was off by his own in his own class.
That's actually very true. I was thinking about as you were talking, like the things that Caleb were working on were things that he could work on by himself. That he didn't need that second opinion, as mentioned. But the things that Luke and I are working on, we would constantly bounce off each other. Like, hey, how does this look? How does this look? I don't really like that. Oh, I like this. We're able to bounce off each other in that dynamic.
Speaking of which, the challenges that came with just being a part, but at the same time having that group together, being another person, being a part was a little difficult. So like I couldn't get that feedback from Caleb that I wanted. Sometimes I could from Kevin unless he was out of class, but like if I wanted to say work on another part for the video, I didn't know how it sounded for Kevin and Caleb's opinion, whether or not they would have thought that was a dumb idea to do that scene for the trailer, or they thought they should have changed it up a little bit. So definitely a challenge not being able to always receive that feedback from another partner.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and like I know exactly what you mean. I had some ideas that I thought were good when I was alone, but then I forgot about them, so they really couldn't have been that good. And I think it really brought out like the fresh ideas we had in our heads. Also, group chats are exceptionally helpful when you're doing this. Just
Yes.
Text group chat dedicated to filming where you can just pose a question anytime during any day, and everyone can just access it. That's super helpful.
Even if I just have a question for Caleb, I'd still text a group chat So just in case Luke had an idea, he could pop in there. Even though it wasn't directed at Luke, Luke's still free to comment on that.
Oh, yeah.
Communication definitely helps between group members because, like, with the group that we have here, we are all very familiar with each other. We know how we work as individuals, and so working together as a group, we are able to just talk to one another, to and from conversation, just bounce off, and, like, really, we had that chemistry set down, so it was really easy to work with this group and accomplish this amazing task.
Also, I think just the whole having like a record of it, like the group chat allowed, as our only form of communication. Like we could go back and say, okay, on Tuesday we said we were going to do this, this, and this, and it's Monday now and we're filming. It's the following Monday and we're filming, so let's just do that then. And I think actually for any group, regardless of whether or not you can all communicate at once, just a written record of what you discussed, like even if it's just like film this on this day, that would be beneficial. So that way it's all
Definitely.
accessible.
And yeah, going off that, one thing that was very important for us is that the moments we were together, we needed to make sure that we were on task
Yep.
the whole time so we could get as much done as possible. And so in order to accomplish that, prior to meeting, within our group chat, we would text, we would be, hey, what are we going to do next Sunday when we're recording? We want to do this scene, this scene, this scene, this scene. So when we actually got there on Sunday, we knew exactly what we wanted to do, when, where, and all that, and we were able to accomplish that. And
Yeah, we started right away. As soon as we got together, it was easy, it was quick, and then, like, it took a lot of stress off, so we weren't cramming in, like, the last few days of the project, trying to film and edit at the same time. Like, we're taking time out now, and we're just editing and working out the fine details, like, oh, that looks really, really good, let's keep that, or let's change this, because we don't necessarily want that kind of aspect or appeal to the video. We can do that now because of our successful planning and our group communication. It just worked out perfectly. We had that extra time at the end.
that's right.
Now that we talked a little bit about the process of making it and getting this far, should we talk a little bit about like what Thorin's about and everything?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. As the person who plays Thorin, as Caleb mentioned, it is a prequel to The Hobbit. So it sort of dives into who Thorin was. The time period is from when he is banished, when Smaug kicks him out of the mountain, and it leads directly up to when basically the beginning of The Hobbit, when Thorin meets up with the other dwarves and Bilbo Baggins. So it just kind of it dives into the struggles that Thorin went through and trying to reclaim the mountain and getting help from Gandalf. And it really goes into his personal struggles there.
Yeah, couldn't have put it better myself as the writer. So good job, Kevin.
Personally, for me, I felt like I didn't know much about what this all was, like this whole storyline, so I found it really interesting and really easy to grasp along, and it actually intrigued me, so I kind of wish that somebody would create this film. Unfortunately, we're on like a low budget, so this the trailer itself is kind of like expected to be low budget. So I mean, but at the same time, there's a lot of cool aspects, and I think everyone will enjoy.
Speaking of low budget,
Yeah, exactly.
a lot of the software we used, that was all free open source versions of that.
Exactly.
Like, Luke, what software were you using for editing and all that other stuff?
It's called Premiere Platinum, something.
That's incorrect. It's called Sony Movie Studio.
Sony Movie Studio, and I'm previously very familiar with Sony Vegas Pro. Unfortunately, mine is not working, so I had to use Kevin's, and it's super the same, but it's actually exceptional. And then also, for hopefully some of the visual effects that you'll see, Caleb used.
I used a program called After Effects from Adobe, which is not initially free. It's a pretty hefty price to pay for using such a cool software, but fortunately, I knew what I wanted and how I wanted it, so I just got a 7-day free trial. I got all that stuff done, and then I canceled my membership. And then another software I used was GIMP, which is an open source photo editing software, which rivals that of Adobe Photoshop. Super cool, super handy. Definitely check it out if you're interested in getting into all the photo editing without the photo editing price tags.
Yeah, for sure. The eyeball that you're hopefully going to see, if it makes it in there, if we've done a well enough job, was used creating Blender, the 2.8 version, which is currently in beta. As we speak, it is May 2019. It'll probably be coming out here soon, so if you want to check that out, it's 2.8 is the version, and then all the other available versions are like 2.7 and below, so I guess that helps that all those they're all very similar, but their formatting and their way that their user interface is set up is a bit different in the previous versions. But it is a free software, and it is for CGI and all these Hollywood studio type visual effects that you'll see. And a lot of studios have actually confirmed them using a software similar to Blender. If not, they have used Blender in the past, so it is definitely up there in the credibility section.
One more software that I forgot to mention was I actually mixed some of the music you're going to hear that we made. I mixed that in Ableton 10 Live Lite.
Mm-hmm. And then for the voiceovers and such, we used Audacity. It's an audio recording program. As well as for our website, we used yola.com. It's a free online website builder. So that was pretty cool. And while we're talking about budget really quick, I'd like to go into our costumes that we had. That was one challenge that came with doing The Hobbit, is you can't just wear your jeans and flannels around. We got to have we wanted to have true authentic costumes. And I think we were able to get those for a pretty low price, even though my costume came in a size for an 4-year-old. So it was quite small, but I cut it pretty much into pieces to make it fit me, and then put on a fur coat and beard, and I guess I had my own beard before I cut it off, and a wig. So
Costumes was probably the most expensive thing in the film, but also, I don't know about you, Kevin, but I plan on wearing mine for more than just the trailer. So
exactly,
it'll earn its worth.
It's pretty cool. It's a pretty nice wig, definitely, for sure, in the costume, and plan on donating the fur coat to my sister. So
I'm sure she'll appreciate it.
Of course.
So, do you guys have any final thoughts about making this presentation that you want to say?
I personally love this experience, and it's another project that I'm happy to say I'm proud of, and I love having it all come together at the end, seeing it in live action.
Mm-hmm. I've definitely learned a lot when it comes to helping Luke with editing, voiceovers, and just building a website, and just learning new things about how team dynamics work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really been a fun experience, and we got two great group members to do it with. So
Yep.
Where are they? I honestly really enjoyed the film. I thought it was, especially with some of the stuff we did, it was more of a, hey, we want this, let's learn how to do it.
Yeah.
Which was kind of fun flying by the seat of your own pants. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. We put countless hours into it. I'd say my contributions at least, and this is because only I worked alone, I'd say I put at least 25 hours into making this.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something special to look back on for sure.
Oh, yeah. So, hey, what's the link to access the website?
In order to access the website, I will be putting a link in the bio to the YouTube video, and it'll be something along the lines, if it has not been taken, it'll be Thorin/yola.com is what it should be. But like I said, if you can't find that, you should be able to Google my name, Kevin Macy, on YouTube, and I'll have the video uploaded there, and down in the description will be the website, which will also have the video on it. It'll have some blooper and production videos in it. It'll have this podcast will be in it, so definitely check that out.
So if they can't access the website, how are they supposed to listen to the podcast?
Maybe it's the future, Caleb. You
It's
never know.
We never know. We never know where this may end up. So,
Of course.
It's also, unless you didn't get to the website, it's also going to be on Lucas Squints on YouTube. So check that out. And I guess this is us signing off, and I hope you guys enjoyed the trailer.
once again, I'm Caleb Voles.
I'm Kevin Macy.
I'm Luke Skinner, and thank you for your time.